Breaking news, let's take a look at Amazon stock. It is climbing about 0.8% off the highs of the session, but you can see where it started the day, lower than where it is now. This after announcing plans to invest $10 billion in North Carolina to expand AI infrastructure. According to Amazon, the funding will help create 500 new high-skilled jobs. This is just the latest major investment the tech giant has made in artificial intelligence. So Amazon jumped out early. It started investing billions of dollars months and months ago in AI startup Anthropic. Now they've got about $8 billion in this company. Anthropic has become its primary cloud and training partner. The AI developer just rolled out its new Claude Opus 4 and Sonnet 4 models. Here's the man behind them and everything that's about to come out. Joining us now in a Fox Business exclusive, Anthropic's Chief Product Officer, Mike Krieger. Mike, great to have you here. This is so interesting. I first want to just jump out and say, tell me the adoption numbers on Claude Opus and Claude Sonnet 4. How are they doing in the marketplace?
Absolutely. For sure. It's great to be here, Liz. And we've seen incredible adoption even in the first 2 weeks of people adopting the new model. So we launched both on the same day, both Opus and Sonnet, Opus being our most powerful, largest model, and Sonnet being sort of the jack of all trades, really great everyday model as well. And what we saw even within that first week, we're seeing 80% plus of our customers already moving over to the new models. And then on Cloud.ai, which is our more consumer-facing product, we saw double the number, triple the number in some cases of new signups of people signing up for our Pro and even our Max accounts, which are between $100 and $200 a month. So we're just seeing adoption across the board. Everybody's very, very excited about the new models.
So let's talk about the difference between the Sonnet and the Opus.
So one thing that we really think about is we want to meet people where they are and customize AI to the applications that they have. And so, when we work with, for example, a pharmaceutical company that wants to bring AI on their hardest problems, then something like Opus is really appropriate for that. If you're running AI all day, maybe across your code base because you're an engineer or a coder, then something more like Sonnet is a better fit for that. And what we continue to do is we hear from people that it's useful, and we find the customers that are most successful with AI are not the ones that are single model, they're the ones that are using multiple parts of what we call our model family because they're figuring out where AI fits into different parts of their business.
So when you're looking at the competitive landscape here, and it has gotten more and more vicious, and it's not just OpenAI's ChatGPT, it's the Chinese plans that are all coming out. DeepSeek, you and I were at HumanX at the conference together. Shortly after, there was another one that came out where they've created a different kind of AI chatbot that actually makes its own decisions.
Yeah, what we find, and I remember when the DeepSeek kind of news came out, how much attention was paid to that, and we were tracking it really closely to see what kind of impact it would have on business. And what's interesting and what I keep learning is what people are looking for, enterprises are looking for, is not just an AI model that they can adopt. They're trying to find a partner that they can work with to help transform their business. And so that's where continuing to bet on American companies that are going to be showing up, not just with great models, but with also the company, the trust, the teams behind it ends up really mattering. And that's a thing that we'll continue to build out as we think about building out our professional services team, applied AI, different ways in which we show up not just with the world's best models, but hopefully with the best model company around it to be that true partner. And I think that'll be a good competitive advantage for American companies overall.
Are you formulating different ways of training those models? The entire internet has already been ingested, from what I hear. Everything has already been put into a lot of these large language models. So are you now going with different kinds of ways to educate these large language models?
That's really important. So I'm going to sort of, at the highest level, think about there's one part of which is pre-training, which in many ways is what the model knows or what it knows about. And then there's post-training, which is how the model brings that information to bear on problems. And there's still, I think, a lot of work to be done on both sides, but a lot of the advancements in the last couple of years have been on post-training. And so a lot of what that looks like is saying, how do we make the models good at particular tasks? And we've got many, many environments in which we train our models models to be a better engineer, a better writer, better solve complex problems that might actually take hours, keep track of its own internal to-do list. So in the same way that you or I might keep track of our work over the course of a day using a list or memory, training our models to do the same, that's an incredible area of research, and it's ignited kind of a whole second wave of advancements in AI that you see with these models that can reason or think for longer and then work on problems, not just for seconds or minutes, but actually hours.
Yeah, and both Elon Musk and Jensen Huang of NVIDIA have talked about synthetic data now and also visual data, inputting it so these large language models can figure out different ways of observing and being able to answer some of these prompts. This rush to ingest different data has, there's a new lawsuit dropped today by Reddit against Anthropic, saying that Anthropic used Reddit content without a license. This rush to make sure that everybody's data that they create should be licensed is somewhat of a drag, is it not? When I say it like a wind drag, it's pulling and slowing down some of these models. What do you have to say about that? And are you guys working hard to make sure that you're paying for what you ingest into the models to train them?
Yeah, one thing we try to make sure we do, and we work really hard on doing, is make sure we obey the rules of the road. So there's a sort of open standard called robots.txt, which web owners, web maintainers can say, you're okay crawling this site, maybe not this site, and we make sure we obey that and always kind of seek to make sure that that's the case. And then the other place that we try to do is, as we build products, we added web search and advanced research into Cloud AI, is always citing and linking back to these owners. And what you think you'll see in the next few years is a lot of the traffic to these sites will start coming, and I've already seen this in talking to publishers, it started coming from results being produced by LLMs. And so I think that evolution is a healthy one as well, where we really ground everything in a citation, in a link, in making sure that you have attribution about where that information is coming from to make sure people can go to the source.
Perplexity's founder is saying that AI is going to destroy year 1 through 5 white-collar workers, sort of these people just out of college, because it can do everything that they almost have to learn how to do. Where do you stand on that? Do you agree with that perspective?
I think labor markets will absolutely change, and I think it's important to start having that conversation now so that we can start opening up the dialogue, thinking about different policy solutions, thinking about what kind of reskilling we want to also encourage. And that's something that we've tried to do is, in parallel to our product team and our research team, we also have an economic impacts team and a societal impacts team that starts looking at things like, if you look at how people are using Claude today, is it mostly replacing or is it augmenting? And it turns out right now it's primarily augmentation, or doing a slice of a task, not an entire job. And I think we have a couple of years where that's still going to be the case. I think we should use those years to, for the folks that are working alongside AI, how do we make that really efficient? How to make that work well? And knowing that there will be times where an AI will get powerful enough where it might be doing more replacement than augmentation. How do we start preparing for that future? And I think we can either bury our head on sand and say, well, we'll deal with that when it gets there, or we can start having that conversation early. And we've tended more towards the let's have this conversation now, even if the timelines are uncertain.
Economic impact team. I think that's helpful, and we look forward to seeing what they produce. Thank you so much, Mike. Please come back. We love following the Anthropic story.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.